Okay, welcome back everyone. It's nice to see everyone here, bright and shiny faces, and not too many people stayed up too late in the room. But it was a great boat ride, huh? Wasn't that nice? Great food, everything had fun. So today, we have a jam-packed session. I'm going to try to take this on time so we can be out of here and maybe get to the beach, have some free time. But we're very excited to open it up with a 1-hour session from Mark Frasco. I don't know, he'll tell you what it's going to be on, but I think you're really going to love it. It's a great way to start the day. Then we have some really good sessions coming up this afternoon. So Mark, why don't I just hand it over to you and take it away?
Thank you. Everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. First of all, I want to thank Dan, I want to thank CoCard and everybody for putting together that big Dodger party last night. That was really, that was really good. That boat, I mean, it's crazy that you did all that for the Dodgers. But anyways, I thought rather than put together another presentation, today I'm going to do a little bit more of an interactive session. So this is what we're going to do. Get you started very early. 2 tables. So people in front would turn around and work with the table behind them. You would work with the table behind you, and so on. So you guys will work with the table behind you. Find 2 tables, turn around, and I want you to have some discussion about business growth. I want you to talk about what it is that you think you're doing that's working, or what you think you're doing that maybe you'd like to have more information on. At the end of your conversation, which is going to be about 10 minutes, it's going to be fast. About 10 minutes. I want you to, as a group, decide on 2 or 3, let's say 2 of these topics. And I'll read out the topics to you. So the outcome that I want in 10 minutes after your conversation is our table would like to talk more about, in a group setting, kind of a round table, we'd like to talk more about proposals and how to do proposals and how to make them better and more effective and whatever it might be. So the topics that I put up here, and you can suggest others. Strategic architecture, measurement, sales team structure, building awareness or marketing, sales team compensation, social media, CRM, customer relationship management, price versus value, presentations or demos, proposals, challenger style, and branding. So at your tables, listen to each other, tell stories about, hey, this is what we're doing. Each person in your group is going to probably have 2 minutes. So it's got to be pretty quick. Have a timer helping, and be ready to have either somebody's going to call out or I'm going to have you guys come up and vote. And then we'll have some deeper conversation about these topics. Any questions about what I'm asking you to do? So pair up with another table, 2 tables each, and start your conversations. What are you doing? What do you want to know more about? All right? 10 minutes, I'll call you back. All right, let's bring it back together. You can stay in the groups, but let's start focusing on the 4 hours. If you need me to, I'll play some rock music. All right, let's, it looks like there are 2 groups over here, so this group, what was the topic or 2 that seemed to resonate with you guys?
Marketing and social media.
Marketing and social media. All right. What about your group?
POS and POS.
Oh, okay. There was a group back here?
Yes, marketing and social media as well.
All right. Next group?
Price versus value.
Did you have another one, or was that
Yeah, presentation.
presentation?
Yep.
Next group? Back here?
And social media marketing.
Social media and marketing? Next group? Come this way. Keep coming this way.
We can basically all think through with referral relationships,
Okay.
the social marketing, and specialty niches.
Okay. Next group?
Okay, I think it was mostly social media.
Okay.
What's working, what's not.
Come this way.
Social media, marketing, social roles.
Marketing, social media. Next.
We discussed using your existing customer base as leverage for referrals
Okay.
to point prospective clients to them and let them sell for you. And we also we spoke a lot about educating and being the educator, the knowledge base, so they felt comfortable that you would have the solutions to whatever problems they would have.
So, educator as a salesperson, you mean like that will challenge your concept?
Yeah.
Next group?
We kind of questioned about why the Dodgers actually got to the World Series.
We'll talk about that one later.
Talk about price versus value and presentations.
Okay. All right. All right. So social media is often a topic of conversation with people, especially those who haven't really dived in on that yet. Is there anyone in the room that would consider themselves, like pretty active in social media from a business perspective? Raise your hand if you've done it. What's that? Yeah. Not Facebook to your friends. But as an organization, is there anybody here that's really got into it? Tell us your story a little bit, what you do.
I use it mostly for recruiting. LinkedIn Recruiter, I think.
He uses it mostly for recruiting.
He is Daniel.
I understand. I use it mostly for recruiting. I use they have an option called LinkedIn Recruiter. It's all volume, and you're trying to create. I think you mentioned top of the funnel.
Yep.
You're going to see and talk to a lot of people. It's casting a wide net. I get a lot of resumes. They're not always a good fit. I've gotten only one person really that, and that person still hasn't really made a decision whether or not they want to join and do this business. So you get to meet a lot of people. I try to narrow it down. Like I said, it just really takes resumes at first rather than just talk to everybody. But it's a lot of work. You got to call a lot of these people, otherwise they don't respond. Everybody's looking for an opportunity on LinkedIn, but they don't know what that opportunity is. And you get a lot of millennials, mostly millennials.
Yeah. LinkedIn is obviously very popular, and it kind of built its roots through recruiting. I'll tell you what we recommend for our clients and what we do as a company when it comes to social media. I mentioned it a little bit yesterday. We use Facebook. If you go out and you look up Team CoAct on Facebook, Facebook is our culture page. So for us, we use that to build spirit in the organization. People, if you go on the Team CoAct Facebook page, you'll see somebody got married, somebody bought a house, somebody bought a new car, a big party that we had. Like today's our 14th anniversary, so there'll probably be all kinds of fun stuff about our party we're gonna have tonight, all that neat stuff. So that's what we do with Facebook. And it's useful. I think it helps us with retention, it helps us with attraction. People go to the Facebook page and say, oh, it's a cool company, I'd kind of like to be there. LinkedIn, we do the same thing. We use for recruiting. We post jobs on LinkedIn, but over the last 3 or 4 years, and what I recommend for our clients is that you join groups. Like there's probably a POS group. There's probably groups that you can join and you can contribute to. LinkedIn has become a nice resource for people to go and get information and to feel like they're connected to a group. So, we're all, I would say most of us anyway, are on LinkedIn and we get invites all the time. I typically don't personally, I typically don't respond to invitations of people that I don't know. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's your style, but I typically don't respond to those. But when I meet people, if they ask me on LinkedIn, I do. So on LinkedIn, you have the features, the social media features of your network. So you know 354 people, and these people know these people. And so it is kind of cool if you're trying to get into somebody and you could call a friend and say, I see your LinkedIn with Joe, I'd really like to meet you. And I've done that a number of times, and it helps. It's, you know, old school networking when we used to network. This is just on steroids. You know, LinkedIn is, if you use it right, it is a great networking tool. Also with LinkedIn, we post announcements. Mark's speaking at CoCard in Fort Lauderdale. If you go on our LinkedIn page, you'll see my team put up a little thing of me speaking in front of a group, and we're talking about Mark Frasco speaking at CoCard. We have various things that we'll post. My newsletter articles, videos, things like that. Anything on your industry, post it on your website. Share it with your friends. You hit the little share button, and it goes to anybody who's in your network. And it's pretty cool. It's useful. Now, all that said, you know, I'm not a millennial, and I don't really have, I hate to break anyone's heart here, I really don't have any hard evidence that social media is that effective in the B2B market. I think it's a tool. It's just like anything else. I think it's useful. I think depending on how you use it, you can leverage it, network, putting information out, joining groups, recruiting. But once again, I don't think I would sit there and wait for, you know, LinkedIn to get me orders. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
You know, I have one of the things for LinkedIn or for this, can you hear it? No? Okay, don't worry about it. For LinkedIn or for Facebook to work, I have another company where I've actually hired, like I've got a person in my office, and that person manages all my LinkedIn responses.
Yeah.
So if anyone thinks you're talking to me on LinkedIn, you're not, because I don't have time for that, or Facebook. But I have a company that's kind of like Lavu Media that was here yesterday that manages all my Facebook posts for the company. And you can see it. I mean, they actually can gauge how many visitors you have to your website based off it. The months that I'm doing promo on Facebook, I'm getting, you know, 1,000, 1,500 people in my area visiting my Facebook, and I actually see, you know, this is for customers.
Yeah.
I actually see customers come through that way.
Yeah.
Versus the months that I'm doing promo, I have maybe 100, 150 people visit my Facebook. So
Yeah, we track those things also, and I think it is very useful, and you can get that on LinkedIn, you can see it. So what you just described is there are people out there who help you manage your online presence. Usually it's a nominal fee. Yes?
Actually, Facebook, I think if you're like a restaurant or retail, and you have a Facebook account, $400 a year, they will solicit people in your community from a 3 or 4 mile radius to get them to join you and help you. And that will grow that much. I don't know if it would be good for us, I doubt it, but if you're a restaurant or retail, I think it would be ideal.
Yeah, I think the key with anything like this online is to stay active. I mean, if you have a LinkedIn page and you haven't put anything up for 3 months, it's not that useful. You know, and same with your website. You know, I think all of these things contribute to your awareness in the market. I think people want to see that you're active, that you're engaged in the market, that you care about it, you think about it, you're posting articles, you're belonging to groups, and doing that work. You know, there's a lot of research out nowadays that, I'm going to get the number wrong, but it's somewhere around 70% of buying decisions are made before they even meet with you. And this is what's changed in the selling world. Used to be the other way around. Nowadays, people are making decisions by looking at your website, going to your LinkedIn page, looking at what materials you have out there. They want to see that your website says to the market, we are a serious organization or we're not. I hate to say it, but That's the first place how you start online is with your website. And there are so many services you can get today to get a professional website. You can, for a nominal cost, do it. You don't have to spend $20,000 to get a nice website today. But I think it's really important because I don't know about you guys, but the first place I usually go when somebody pokes me somehow, I go to the website. Almost always.
Mark, one of the other things you can do with LinkedIn is you can find out what your competition's doing too. I mean, it's not just what you're doing, it's what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think on the topic of social media, again, I think it's one tool in your toolkit. I think it's an important tool. More and more people are looking at it. And the younger we get generationally, the more you're going to see that. LinkedIn, right, for us right now, as far as business goes, there are people who do Twitter and there are people who do those different things. I honestly don't. I mean, unless you hire somebody to do it, I honestly don't know where you get the time to do all that stuff. So for me, I have a team of people and they do keep LinkedIn pretty active. We do post jobs, we recruit, Facebook again, cultural page. But I think all that has to get tied to a solid professional website. And there was one table that mentioned advocacy, customer advocacy. This is another big move right now. There's books that are coming out on it, and that is what they call third-party selling. So much more important than anything you'll say about your organization to a client, get your customers to say it. Get your partners to say it about your organization. It's even better if you can get them on video. Remember the old days, we used to ask people to give us a letter of reference, and we put it on their letterhead, and we put it in our hallway, and then, we put it in our proposals. Well, if you go to the CoAC website, you'll see we put one up every month, a new customer advocacy video, usually about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and we get our customers to say nice things about their experience with CoAC. And so every month we release that in a newsletter. Powerful, powerful. We tipped when we started doing that about 2 years ago. I mean, it just started to go. People ask me for referrals, I say just go on my website, watch the videos, and let me know if you want to talk to anybody. And I'll set it up. I don't even give them a referral list anymore. And get your customers to say nice things about them. If you can do it on video, that's great. I don't think you need to have it professionally done. I don't think it needs to be, like highly produced. Ours are, because I have the capability to do that. But I think you can get an iPhone and put it up. It's okay. It's all right. Send it out. So get your customers to say nice things about you. If you can get 2 or 3 of your best customers to do that, it really helps. You can post that on LinkedIn, put it on your website, you can do those kind of things. Third-party selling. This is going to be a major move in the B2B market in the next 3 to 5 years. Like right now, I mentioned yesterday for a restaurant or something, we have Yelp, right? People order 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. Well, get ready, because it's coming. It's coming for you guys, it's coming for us. There's not going to be an organization in 3 years that's not going to have some site. Somebody's going to take over, and the customers are going to be able to rate your organization and put comments in there. It's going to be interesting. We already have it with people. I don't know if any of you had the experience with Glassdoor. People will go on, your employees will go on and say their experience with this company, and they'll give it a rating. Any other specific questions about social media? It's a tool in your toolkit. Don't rely on it heavily, but I think it's important to have a good online presence. It's important for you to use those tools to help build your network. It kind of segues nicely into this whole build awareness and marketing. Almost everything we do in marketing, email, postcards, videos that we do, we're trying to drive people to our social media pages or our website. And we watch that action. We watch that action all the time. How many unique visitors, where we're, whenever we send out some sort of message, how many people respond to it, we take a look at it. Now, we have some sophistication, I wouldn't expect most of you do, but in our CRM, our customer relationship management system, we have the ability to track who actually is interacting with our marketing. It's kind of spooky, but you can tell. Like, when your customers interact with you, if you want to buy the technology, you can kind of see who's been to your website, how long they were there, what pages they visited, all that kind of stuff. You have to have a sophisticated CRM and then combine with the bolt-on tools to do that. So, building awareness in marketing, you kind of got my bias, strong bias on that. I actually think that maybe I was relying too much on one media or another. What we've shown is, like, there's all kinds of stats out there, so some of you may have different numbers, but email marketing, 1.5% to 2% clicks, if you're doing well. Direct mail, a little bit better than that, 2.5% typically. You make phone calls. We make phone calls. We get about 20% completed calls out of the phone calls that we did. 80% we don't. We don't connect. We leave a voicemail. But when you combine all of these things, when you create that wave plan that is multimedia, multi-touch, your results are multiplicative. We'll get almost 20% completed calls. We'll get 13 to 15%, what I call conversion rate, where somebody wants to meet and talk. And that's because we've done an email, a postcard, a phone call, so just doing one, I don't believe is that effective. I really don't think email marketing by itself works, nor does direct mail by itself work, nor does just picking up the phone and calling people by itself work. But I think the combination of those things and I'll say discipline of doing it on a regular basis and mixing it up, because quite frankly, in this room, everybody's personality style is a little bit different. Some of you are really good at answering emails and looking at them, and some of you aren't. Some of you, we were talking about this, a couple of us were talking about this yesterday. Some people in this room, they rely heavily on phone work. They like to talk on the phone. I have a number of customers, I'll text them and they won't answer me, but if I call them, they'll pick up the phone. And there's the opposite. There's two also. Where you call somebody and they're like, hey, text them. So, you have to find that style. The point is, don't rely on one thing to get your brand out there. Don't rely on one thing to communicate. I don't think it needs to be expensive. I don't think it needs to be hard, but I do think if you're not touching your best prospects every 3, 4, 5 weeks, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And I will tell you, I think I told you this story last year. This whole thing with thank you cards, and Dan, you can attest to this too. I'll tell you what. You write a thank you card today, that may be the only thing your prospect really looks at from your organization. Is a handwritten note that says, hey, I'm really sorry I tried to reach you, and I'm sorry we haven't connected. Here's my business card. I'd love the opportunity to speak with you about it, blah, blah, blah. Why I think it's important. You'll get hits on the thank you card. Because oftentimes that's the only thing, again, a prospect will see. Yes?
We were talking about the LinkedIn recruiter before. When I paid money for it for the first couple of months, I got nothing on it. And LinkedIn recruiter lets you kind of plug in the type of individual that you want, what characteristics, what schools, et cetera, et cetera. I got nothing from it. When I started to make the phone calls and send the mail and try other types of media, not only did I start to get responses, but that's how I started to get people to come in for interviews.
Right.
Before that, nothing.
Right.
So you got to do it with multiple.
What he's saying is when he started LinkedIn recruiting, he was just doing LinkedIn, and he was getting close to 0 responses. But when he started mixing it with other things, phone calls and doing other things, it started to pop. It's like popcorn. Yeah.
We just started something 10 days ago because we heard
way. We're sending out flyers, but we're sending them out in colored envelopes that look like invitations.
Yeah.
And the few phone calls that we got back were because people opened it up and read.
Yeah.
Where we used to send it out in envelopes, the white envelopes, no one ever returned it.
I would agree with that. So what he's doing is what they're doing, and he says is working, is he's making his mail piece look different, using color, sometimes size. Like, I'm still a big postcard guy. I love postcards, and I use big ones, you know, the big postcards. And people throw them away. 98% of people within 30 seconds of touching it throw it away. They see my name, they see the company name on the way to the trash can. And that's all I care about. That's all I care about. I just want them to see CoCard on the way to the trash can. So that when one of our people does call and says, hi, I'm CoCard, we've been sending you information. Yeah, I didn't get your stuff, I've been throwing it away. And that's okay. Yeah, a lot of people do that. But the people who don't throw it away, we grow their businesses.
Good question. As far as the thank you notes, I think it's a phenomenal idea. But do you have any samples that you have maybe on your website that we can look at?
Probably not, but I can explain it real quick. I would, if you don't have them, I would get them printed. It's usually a couple $100. It's not a big expense. Look, 4x6 thank you card, fold. I would not use a Hallmark card. I'd put my company logo on the front. That's what we usually do. Put the company logo on the front, and on the back, address, phone number, website. And for us, we put a QR code there, so if they do that thing, a QR code will go to the website. And then every thank you card I send, and I send 20 or 30 a month that I send out thank you cards. Every time, I don't care if I'll write down a thank you card after this event, and I've sent him 3 or 4 thank you cards over 2 years, and I will always put my business card in. Every single time. Not because he doesn't have it, because I want him to give it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or if he has lost it, I want him to have it. So, thank you card, fold, logo on the front, go to your local printer, Minuteman or whatever. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but get your brand out there. Website on it, phone number on it. If the address helps you, put the address on it. If the address doesn't help you, don't put it on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a national firm, so a lot of my stuff, I don't put Toledo, Ohio on it. Because I don't want them to think about CoCard Toledo, I want them to think about CoCard. But I'll put my website there. If you need more information, go on the website. It will be the one thing that your prospect will open. I told the story last year, if you remember. I have an assistant who gets the mail. And in 14 years, the only mail that hits my desk is a UPS or FedEx package that's got my name on it, or a handwritten note. Other than that, I haven't seen a piece of mail in 14 years. So if any of you wrote me a thank you card, I did. She won't open that. She sees a handwritten note, she won't open it. And she just gets it to my desk. And I don't think I'm that different than most people. So again, I need to beat that with you guys, but I really believe, I say it whenever I speak, if you can get in the habit of every day, get the postcards printed first, get in the habit of every day putting a thank you card on your desk, and when you leave, make sure it's not there. Meaning write one a day. Just one a day. It'll take you 5 minutes. I don't care if you write it to a partner, a prospect, a friend, an employee. Write a thank you card a day, and you'll break through. You'll begin to break through. It's a nice way, and just don't get in the habit let me put it positively. Get in the habit of saying something personal. Get in the habit of saying something to the person who's reading it that's important to them. So building awareness marketing, mix the media, do at least 2 or 3 direct mail pieces a year. I love the idea of using color, size. People used to say if it's lumpy, it's good. You know, if you throw a pin in it or whatever it is, people open that stuff. And again, you're not looking for them to, oh my God, I got this pin from CoCard. I'm going to call them and buy something. No, that's not going to happen. But they are going to remember CoCard. They're going to remember the name. It still works. That stuff still works. So build awareness, multimedia, regular touches, 4 or 5 weeks at a time. Mix it up. Mix it up. Direct mail, email, article, LinkedIn post, whatever it might be, mix it up. Presentation. Do you guys do like real, like across the table, I'm guessing, but are you doing presentations or are they more like demos, where people want to see a demo of the product? Which is it, or both? Both? So, okay, so you'll actually sit with people sometimes and go through a brochure with them or whatever it might be and show the product. You do that, okay. So, I'll give you my 2 cents on presentations. This is not evidence of it because this is a large group. But I say, as much as possible, avoid every molecule in your body PowerPoints. You know, I really don't think that they're that great in a sales presentation. If it's a large group, if you're presenting to 12 people, maybe. But I'll tell you, I'm a really big fan of, you can have materials and you can do that, but I'm a really big fan of whiteboard, easel pad, touch things, go into the company and touch things when you're presenting. I think the most important thing in a presentation that I've learned over the years, and I sold millions of dollars worth of construction and properties and all that, know your customer, know your prospect really, really well. And I like to open up most of my sales presentations talking about their business and the research that I've done. So going back to the challenger stuff, I try to let them know that I've done my homework and I know their business and I understand it. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm getting validation and I'm getting gratification from them that I did my homework. So I think every presentation should start with your idea, your statement of understanding about the business, about their market, about their problem, about what's going on, and confirm that. Because before, I don't even say this sometimes in presentation, before I go and like bore you to death with all this stuff about us, I want to confirm I know you, and I understand where you're at. So in my presentations, usually I'll spend the first 5 to 10 minutes just talking about the prospect and their business and what they do and why you're there. And I get them shaking their head, yes, that's why. So you have to do a little bit of research. You have to know what what the challenges are, what the opportunity is, what trouble they're having, and you need to talk about that. And then, you know, you probably picked up on this from me. I grew up in the world of going through features and, you know, the FAB cell, right? Features, advantages, benefits of my product or service. And some of that's useful. I personally, I would be really careful, and I think I would try to make my presentations right to the need, right to the application. Not, we've got a red light, a green light, a blue light, and this is how fast this is, and this fast is, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I would try to say, well, here's your typical process. This is what happens in your business today. This is how our system will work in that environment. This is what we're going to do for you. These are the outputs for it. And I would almost do the presentation demonstration as if it was like installed for their business. As much as you can do that. So avoid, if you can, this stuff. I think it's good to understand the customer that you're speaking with, the market that they're in, the challenges they have. I love to tell stories about maybe others in their market, you know, when I'm presenting to them. You know, other customers we have have used this feature or have done this, and they've done a really unique thing with it, and they're doing this, we're helping them do that. Those sort of things work. I think talking about the market and talking about their business is one of the most important things in presentation. And then anything that you're showing them about your solution, as much as you can, tailor it right to their application. Right to their application. Don't show them stuff they're not going to use. Any other deeper questions on presentations or demos? I think it's okay, you know, you've got your brochures, you've got those kind of things. I just, personally, I try not to rely on them too heavily. I get people all the time, because I don't do lead behind things. I remember the old days when we always used to have that lead behind, and it was a brochure. I did that in the first few years of Proactive, and I stopped training. People will say, do you have anything that, you know, you can send me? And I say, no, just look at the website. We put everything on the website. It's all there. I really recommend most of our clients do not spend a lot of money on glossy brochures. I would spend it on a website, and I would get people driven to my website. We'll actually use our website sometimes to demonstrate our company. Our company, I've got a learning center, so sometimes I'm talking, if you were to call me and say, I want to learn more about ProAct, I say, are you at your desk? And you say, yeah, I'm at my desk. Can you go online? Go to teamcoact.com. And you go there, and there's like 5 models. I'll take them right through what we do, how we do it. Then I flip them over to the other page where I talk about the deliverables. And I say, if you want to see what our customers say, just click there. I take them right through the website. Then I talk about what their needs are as it applies. What else about presentations? Any other questions? When I'm selling, I'm not a real big, I know it works for some people. I'm just not very formulaic. Like, here's my brochure, this is what you need to know. I actually try to roll up the sleeves and dig in a little bit when I'm presenting. So, as much as you can, I think if you can get to the application, you're doing well. Again, teach and tailor to their business. Price versus value. I hit it a little bit yesterday. I don't avoid the conversation about price, but if somebody talks to me or one of my clients about price or whatever it is, I think when you're in that moment and they start asking you about price, man, make sure that you've said everything that you need to say about the application, about the benefits of your product. Make sure you get it all out before you say the price, in my view. When somebody asks me the price, there's a little switch that goes off in my head that says, okay, I don't say this to them, but you're going to get the price, but before you do that, you're going to listen to me for 10 minutes, because I'm going to tell you all the stuff you're going to get before you hear what the price is. And that's what I do. Somebody says, well, how much does this cost? Well, I said, you know what, we'll get to that. That's pretty interesting. But first of all, I'm going to tell you, this is what we do. It's a month-to-month agreement. We supply 16 hours per week. You get Salesforce.com, you get Pardot, you get all the tools. You get this, you get this, you get this. I do that for 10 minutes. I go through the whole thing. And I say, we do all of that for X. Oh, that's not bad. So I think this whole conversation, when you end up talking about price, it's usually because you've run out of things to talk about that are valuable to that application or to your solution. I really think that as price comes up all the time, right? We're eventually going to have to talk about price, but I think that's a really brief conversation unless you have some competitive advantage commercially in the way you arrange your contracts, the way whether it's a subscription or if it's a one-time fee or a lease or whatever it is. if you have some sort of differentiating factor in the way you commercially engage, then use it. Use that. And some of you might. You know, some of you might have a differentiating factor. But going back to the value piece, as we talked about yesterday, thank you. As we talked about yesterday, make sure you understand, going back to the customer advocacy stuff, why do people buy from you? And make sure you have a really clear understanding of that, and can you actually, I'll say, articulate that into an overt statement. You know, our customers buy from us for 3 reasons. 1, this, 2, that, 3, this. And if you know those things work, talk about those in depth. Get your customers to talk about those things in depth. So, I don't know, I hope that helps. I think the conversation around price is often because there's nothing else to talk about. That's sort of, when I find myself in that mode, I haven't done a really good job of describing what it is that I do. So I think my time is up. I'll stick around. You're gonna have a break.
Yeah, we're gonna have a quick break, and then Mark's gonna stick around for a little bit if you have any questions for him. He can also come up. I mean, I was thinking about hiring his company to come up and just tweak out some of my systems and formulas in my office, some sales formulas, maybe help me design some touches, because that's where I lack, is I'm really good at prospecting and setting appointments, but it's a one-time call. If I did some of these touches and stuff. So anyways, this company can do that too. I don't mean to plug them, but I'm telling you, if you're interested, talk to him about that. Other than that, thanks for again coming to a great show. Thanks for the vote. Let's give him a good